As I've said in my many of my other slip joint plier reviews, one of the most copied tools in the history of hand tools, right next to adjustable crescent wrenches and hammers, screwdrivers. You can't cut your teeth as a hand tool manufacturer unless you make a set of slip joint pliers. These are kind of interesting because, one, they're expensive. $18 on the shelf for a set of slip joint pliers is a bit of money. But I will give Icon a critique by having real light laser etching there. And hopefully you can still get your warranty even if you have some problem, like maybe the rivet breaks or something like that. And that's my other critique, is I just reviewed these Doyles here. And if we look at the thickness of the back of the hot rivet there and we compare it to the Icon, this Icon rivet just doesn't have a lot of meat there, which is a little bit interesting considering how heavy duty they are otherwise. They just have a really thick beam. They seem to be made pretty well. And they, of course, have 3 positions. Took me a minute to get to that, but that's really what sets them apart, is that you have a middle position and an extra wide position. And that's what sets them apart. The standard for slip joint pliers has always been 2 positions. Not to say that there aren't other pliers, but pliers that like this that have the same type of mechanism aren't traditionally called slip joint pliers. These are more of just an adjustable plier. These happen to be some old Proto 240s. But this style of plier is what Channel Lock made their name off of, modifying that slip joint design to use the much stronger, much higher surface area tongue and groove design. The reason these types of pliers don't use tongue and groove, even though they actually could design it to have a tongue and groove, is because it's more convolutions. The dies wear out faster. It's more expensive dies. It's more complication. And this style of plier, the whole point to slip joint pliers is to be a basic plier that can work on multiple sizes of fasteners while having a pretty decent or cheap price. Much cheaper, relatively speaking, than a set of channel locks, although for $18 you could get a set of channel locks like this size, whatever these are, 10-inch, 12-inch, something like that. Anyway, so the claim to fame, 3 positions. Oddly enough, we can see that this is not in a straight line, but it's actually, come on camera, a curve. This one's down, the middle position's actually, I don't know why this camera won't focus. This middle position's up a little bit, this one's back down again. And actually I think that's so that when you adjust it, it's easier to find each of the positions. Otherwise you might be in a constantly going from one end to the other. Instead, having the slight offset in the middle position makes it easy to go from here to there to here, back to the middle position. And I actually think that was wise. That was actually pretty smart. I think Snap-on has a set that's similar to these, and they do the same thing. So I don't know if Snap-on's making these. The jaw design, there are some comments. It is pretty even. I will have to say that this diamond pattern I do like. I don't know how well it's going to hold up, although they claim to have, alloy tool steel and hardened jaws, so it should hold up pretty well, and I do like that as an improvement. Pretty much the universal standard for slip joint pliers is just to have this linear serrations like on these Doyles or this original set. Diamond is who really popularized the style of pliers. Even this American-made set of channel locks, my damn camera would focus, is the same thing. You just have linear hatching. So that's one thing that they've done, is they decided to upgrade to a really aggressive diamond pattern, which I kind of find interesting. Second thing is these teeth here, you can see, have like a lot of area, which is kind of interesting. They're kind of more open, more like a sawtooth is the easiest way to kind of say it. A lot of these types of pliers, once again, the teeth will be pretty sharp. We can see on these Doyles, they're really sharp, kind of like shark's teeth. But on the Icon, they decided just to go for a little bit of a different design. Maybe they're thinking that more open area allows the teeth to get a little bit deeper bite. We'll see how it works in practice. One thing I was noticing is they do have a slight, they do follow a kind of a slight curvature because you're going to be mainly grabbing on round objects or fasteners. but it's not quite as aggressive. We can see that there's more of a curvature on the doils. We can see the channel lock has decided to go with kind of a different design. They just use less teeth. They're just thicker and heavier duty. They have more cross-section near the tip of the tooth, which I kind of like that design. Older school designs like the diamonds here, it's straight across. They don't really have much of a curvature. So, and it's really wide. There's just a lot of extra space in there. As if we compare to, say, the diamonds, if we even compare to, say, the center line of the rivet, the jaws are even a little bit longer, so they just give you a little bit more reach. Another thing, all these pliers are pretty much the same, where they just have these basic type of bypass cutters. These aren't for cutting stranded wire. They won't do that very well, but they're for just general cutting purposes. All of them have pretty much followed that design. The doils, channel locks, and all the other ones I have. These are kind of interesting in the fact that, one, they just don't seem to line up properly, which I don't understand. Even if we get it into this middle position, I guess they line up, well, not even that great in the middle position. And of course, they won't actually, even in the middle position, even though they don't line up, they won't cross over. So I don't really understand why they're not particularly even. And you can kind of see where, if you're going to cut something, what will happen oftentimes is, I need to find an object to make, is that if you're not totally on there, maybe you're at a slight angle, what's going to end up happening is you're going to clamp down right on this sharp edge, really folding it and bending it over, halfway cutting what you're trying to cut. And so I don't understand that. I think that's part of it's just a function of how far offset the pivot is from the center line of the cutters. But it's something that they should have compensated for. They know that the pivot position is going to be here, and they should have machined this so that these cutters come together evenly when you're in this far over position, which is the only position that they actually pass by each other to actually perform the cutting operation. Otherwise, they do cut pretty well, to tell you the truth, for bypass cutters, just because they actually have a slight curvature in there, which provides a kind of a pinching action and progressively cuts from the outside towards the center. So I think it's a nice design. As far as the curvature, I just think they could have made some minor adjustments to the geometry. Easiest way to put it. Anyway, besides that, they have the extra thick dip, which does make the handles pretty comfortable. The handles are extra wide if we compare the width, the doils and the diamonds and the channel locks. We can see that these handles are extra wide, which will add to quite a bit of comfort, especially considering the extra thick, cushy kind of overmold. So overall, I think they are a premium set of adjustable pliers, and do like the fact that they have 3 positions. You know, if we take even the doils here, we can see in just how much extra capacity you get, and it does offer you more versatility. And I'm pretty sure that this diamond pattern here on the jaws will, you know, until you've used them enough to really round out the diamond pattern, really will offer a lot of extra grip. And I kind of like this design here, where it's easy to get into that center position. You kind of just go one way and you kind of just pull it, and it'll kind of seat there. So I like that. I just think they could be a little bit better for the cutters, and I think the rivet could be a little bit heavier duty, especially considering that the backside of the doil seems to have just more material there. So I just worry if you're really doing some heavy duty wrenching, if these will want to loosen up a little bit more, just because it'll be easier for this part to just get a little bit deformed and bent. Other than that, not often that you see premium slip joint pliers, and even more rare to find ones that have 3 positions. And for somebody who does carry around and just has need for general use pliers, they might be an option for you, just because they offer a lot more versatility, having the 3 sizing options. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.